Part 1. The Prophecy of the Pythones. Acrisius was the king of Argos, and he had only one daughter, Danae. But Acrisius wanted to have a son. Then Acrisius asked the Pythones who has a such sire. Will I ever have a son? The Pythones answered, No, Acrisius, you will never have a son, but you will have a grandson who will kill you and be king of Argos. Acrisius was very frightened by what the Pythians said and locked Danae in a prison that had neither doors nor windows. The god Zeus watched Danae from heaven and fell in love with her. One night, Zeus transformed himself into golden wraith and visited Danae. Soon after that, Danae had a very beautiful and strong baby boy. The baby was named Perseus. One day, Acrisius heard baby Perseus crying. The Pythia was right. Acrisius had a male grandson. Acrisius was again frightened by the Pythia's prophecy. Acrisius ordered Danae and baby Perseus to be thrown into the sea, inside a wooden chest. The wooden chest with Danae and Perseus inside floated on the sea for some days. Danae and Perseus survived storms and big waves. And finally reached a beach in the kingdom of Polydectes.
Part 2. The Kingdom of Polydectes. Polydectes was a Trojan king, and he had a very good brother, whose name was Dictys. He preferred to live far from the palace, in a humble hut, and work as a fisherman. Early one morning, when Dictys was returning for fishing, he found a wooden chest on the beach, and opened it. Dictys could not believe it. Inside the chest was a beautiful woman with a baby. It was a Danae and Perseus. Dictys took Danae and Perseus to his hut and took care of them as his family. Months and years passed. Perseus grew up in a sturdy and brave boy. One day Polydectes went to visit Dictys. Polydectes saw Danae, fell in love with her, and ordered to her live in the palace. Danae wanted to stay with Dictys, but she had to obey Polydectes because he was the king. Danae told Polydectes that she would live in the palace only if Perseus went to the palace too. Polydectes had not seen Perseus, but since he wanted to marry Danae because she was a beautiful princess, he said yes. Polydectes saw that Perseus was a young and strong prince, and he had no longer felt like living with Perseus in the palace. For if Perseus was stronger than him, Perseus could be a powerful enemy. One night Danae said to Perseus very sadly, Although I love Dictys, Polydectes is very powerful, and I'm going to have to marry him. Tomorrow there will be engagement party, and his marriage is going to be announced. Please behave yourself. Perseus was very angry because his mother had to marry Polydectes. The party was very luxurious, and everyone brought a gift. Polydectes wanted Perseus to leave his kingdom and never come back. Then he had an idea, and he said to Perseus, Perseus, I want you to bring me as a present the head of Medusa. All guests trembled with terror. Medusa was one of the three Gorgon sisters. The Gorgons were big and dangerous monsters. The hair of the Gorgons were poisonous snakes. The Gorgons turned every living thing that looked into their eyes into stone. Danae was very sad and did not want Perseus to go to look for Medusa, but Perseus had to obey Polydectes.
Part 3. Perseus' Adventure. The next morning, Perseus walked worriedly, not knowing where to begin his journey. Hermes was a god who protected people during journeys. Hermes decided to help Perseus, but there was a problem. Hermes did not know where Medusa and her Gorgon sister lived, but there were three witches who did know where they lived. There were three Gaia witches. Hermes was a very famous god because he had shoes with wings. If he wore the white shoes, Hermes could fly Perseus to where the three Gaia witches lived. Hermes told Perseus that the Graias were going to give him three objects so he could kill Medusa. Hermes also gave Perseus a golden sword. The three Gaia witches were old, ugly, and tricky. They shared only one eye and thought. When one of the witches used the eye and taught the others to sleep. They also knew where the Gorgons lived, and they had magic objects that were used to kill Medusa. Perseus approached the three Graias, and when they were distracted, he removed the only eye and thought they had. The angry Graias could not see and shouted, "Who is he? What does he want? Give us back our eye and our thought." Perseus said he would give them everything back if they will tell him where Medusa lived and if they will him the three objects he need to kill her. The three Gaias told him that Medusa lived in a cave at the end of the world, past the lands of the giant Atlas. The three Rayas gave him three objects: flying sandals, a magic bag, a helmet to become invisible. When Perseus went away from the three Rayas, he didn't know which way to go to reach the end of the earth. So Perseus checked the three objects and chose to use the flying sandals. The sandals knew the way and took him flying through forests and rivers. They arrived at a beautiful place where they lived beautiful young girls called nymphs, who were protectors of nature. The nymphs decided to help Perseus and told him where the entrance to Medusa's cave was. Then Perseus said thank you and fly away. Perseus and Athena. Perseus arrived at Medusa caves. The entrance to cave was filled with stone statues. They were the peoples and animals that had looked Medusa in the eye and turned into statues. Perseus needed a plan to kill Medusa without looking her in the eyes. So he asked for help from the goddess Athena, who was brave and wise. Suddenly, a light illuminated the entrance of the cave, and the goddess Athena appeared. The goddess Athena protected the warriors. Athena decided to help Perseus and led him her shield. Athena's shield shone so bright that it looked like a round mirror. Athena told Perseus to look at Medusa through the mirror and not strike in the eyes. That was the plan Perseus needed. Perseus Interred he came with all the objects he had received during the journey. These objects were the shield of Athena, the golden sword of Hermes, the magic bag, the helmet to become invisible, the flying sandals. Medusa and her Gorgon sister were sleeping. Perseus was afraid because the Gorgon were monstrous. Perseus looked at Medusa through the mirror like. She'll pull it out the golden sword and cut off Medusa's head. Perseus put Medusa's head into the magic bag. Medusa's head still had the power to turn tooth while looking into her eyes to stone. The blood that had fallen from Medusa's head was black. Medusa's blood was also magical. Medusa's blood transformed it into new beings, a giant with a golden sword. In his hand, the winged horse Pegasus. The other Gorgons woke up and wanted to kill Perseus. Then Perseus put on his helmet to make himself invisible and was able to fly away quickly with the flying sandals, without being seen along with Pegasus.
Part 4. The Return of Perseus. When Perseus arrived in the kingdom of Polydectes, he went to the palace to see his mother, Danae. Danae had run away from the palace with the fisherman Dictys, because she did not want to marry Polydectes. Polydectes was very angry because she did not want to marry. Polydectes ordered the soldiers to look for Danae and Dictys all over in the island. When the soldiers found Danae and Dictys, they took them to the prison. Danae and Dictys were prisoners. Polydectes was with his friends in the largest room of the palace. Perseus said that he had kept his promise and brought the head of Medusa. Everyone laughed because they did not believe him. Then Perseus took Medusa's head off the bag. Polydectes and all those who laughed looked at Medusa and turned to stone. Then Perseus freed his mother and the fisherman Dictys. The inhabitants of the kingdom asked Perseus to be their king, but Perseus refused. Perseus was the son of Danae, who was princess of Argos, and so Perseus only wanted to be king of Argos.
Part 5. Perseus in Argos. Acrisius was king of Argos. Acrisius was the grandfather of Perseus, who had thrown him into the sea in a wooden chest. Acrisius learned that Perseus was alive. Acrisius was very afraid of Perseus because the Phaetoness had said that his male grandson will kill him. Perseus was Acrisius' male grandson. Therefore, Acrisius escaped from Argos and went to the city of Larissa. Perseus was the king of Argos. One night, the goddess Athena visited Perseus. Perseus gave her back her shield that shone like a mirror. It was the shield that had been used to kill Medusa. Perseus also gave Athena the magic bag with Medusa's head. The goddess Athena put Medusa's head as an ornament on her shield.
Part 6. The Pythonist was right. Acrisius has hidden in a city called Larissa. In Larissa, sports matches and games were always being organized. One day, Acrisius went to watch the sport of discus throwing and saw a young athlete in the distance. Acrisius asked another spectator, "Why the young athlete moved so far away?" before throwing the discus. The spectator said that young athlete was afraid of throwing the discus too far and hitting and hurting someone because he was strong. That young athlete was Perseus. Acrisius remembered the prophecy, got scared, and ran away. Perseus had already thrown the discus far away, and intentionally the discus hit Acrisius in the head and killed him. Perseus was very sad that he had killed his grandfather. Danae told him that he had been an accident. Perseus did not have to feel guilty. The Cynthia had told Acrisius a long time ago that one of his grandsons was going to kill him. Acrisius died because his grandson Perseus threw the disc too hard. The Pythoness guess end.